Stacy.
Greetings, I am retired Judge Nadine Allen, President of the Cincinnati Hampton County Public Library, and this meeting is now called to order. Mr. Fossey, would you please do the roll call?
Yeah. Ms. Allen?
Here.
Mr. Harding?
Here.
Mr. Hendon?
Here.
Ms. Lewis?
Here.
Mr. Olson?
Here.
Ms. Redden?
Here.
Ms. Reynolds?
Here.
I'm now going to ask, would our Vice President, Ms. Diane Redden, VP of the Board, and a member of the FFAC, would you please read the report?
Yes, thank you, Judge Allen. This report is Facilities, Finance, and Audit Committee, members Robert G. Hendon, Chair, myself, and Gregory Olson. Reference library funding. On July 6, 2023, the library hosted a community listening session at the Walnut Hills branch to review library funding and hear public comments on the matter. The Facilities and Finance and Audit Committee met on July 10, 2023, at the Westwood branch. Committee Chair Robert G. Hendon and committee members Diane Cunningham Redden and Gregory W. Olson, along with Trustee Colleen Reynolds, were in attendance. Staff members Paula Bremheger and Molly DeFossi were also in attendance. State budget and funding needs. As reported at the June 13, 2023 board meeting, the table below summarizes the responses and includes an estimated cost per month on a $100,000 property value as calculated by the library. So the chart shows the annual cost on a $100,000 market value house at 1 mil would bring in an estimated revenue of $19,604, which is the rate of $25 a month, or $25 a year annually, monthly $208 a month. A 1.5 mil
$2.08.
a month. Yes. A 1.5 mil levy, estimated revenue $30,878,000. An annual cost on a market value house of $100,000 would bring in $43 a year. Calculated monthly cost $3.58 per month. A 1.85 mil would bring in estimated revenue of $38,771,000. Annual cost on a $100,000 market value house, $55, or a monthly cost of a $100,000 property at $4.58. At the special Board of Trustees meeting on July 18, 2023, the board will pass a resolution as to the amount, 1 mil, 1.5 mil, or 1.85 mils, at the term 10-year or continuing for the levy renewal. The governor signed the final state budget on July 3, 2023. The implications for library is still being evaluated. Context for the current funding situation is essential. Below is a key historical funding information important for our library. The graph below shows the state funding history since 2000. The amounts range from a high in 2000 of $53,116,813 and a low in 2012 of $35,515,843. Between 2017 and 2019, the 3 years before the pandemic, the average annual amount was $40,179,601. During and post-pandemic, the receipts have been higher, likely the result of higher consumer spending. Now we have a chart showing the CHPL state funding 2000 through 2023. Between 2002 and 2009, the library made many operational cuts to maintain service to the public with minimal impact. Many of these reductions were made in staffing. The following chart details the number of employees at year-end or current for the years 2000 to 2023. So it shows a high of about close to 950 employees in 2001 to around 800 employees in 2022. During the lean years, we eliminated our in-house custodial staff and outsourced the operation at a minimal level. We also reduced staffing in many of the support service areas. In recent years, as needs were identified and funding permitted, we have added a few positions. During this time, we also eliminated our contracted security. We have strategically increased our security spending, but it is still under-resourced. Keeping the branches clean, maintaining the meeting spaces for multiple events in a day, and managing the operational relationship with the vendors all take significant internal resources. The library hasn't acquired debt to complete any capital project. During the 1990s, state funding exceeded operational needs. As a result of this funding, the library expanded service by building 6 of the larger suburban branches and constructing the main library north building. This expansion also increased the annual operating costs of the system, but a long-term plan to fund the maintenance and lifestyle replacements of the components of all of our facilities had never been established. During the period of declining state funding, the annual transfers from the general fund to the building and repair fund, which is how these improvements are paid for, were minimal. Once the levy was renewed in 2013, the capital focus was on completing the 3 projects, Clifton, Reading, and St. Bernard, which had been in the works for many years. We also did minimal improvements to both Pleasant Ridge and Avondale to make the entries of these buildings accessible. Once these were completed, we began the process of catching up on years of deferred maintenance. We are currently caught up on most roofs and all but 6 of the HVAC systems, and substantial work that needs to be done at Maine on the cooling towers. Although we are making excellent progress on the FMP, which provides a much-needed 10-year roadmap for our countywide approach to our facilities needs, we still have at least 16 branches with carpet between 16 and 25 years old, as well as outdated and customer-unfriendly furniture. For many years, we would hand down furniture when branches were remodeled to other branches. As a result, we have locations that may not have received any new furniture. For context on operations, below is a chart that shows the 2023 budget by category from the general fund excluding transfers to the building and repair fund. So this chart shows salaries and benefits at 63% of the total budget. The next thing is library materials and information at 14%, and then declines from 4% down. We spend close to 80% of our resources in staff and materials. The fluctuation in the state PLF estimates this year were June 2022 estimate $52,314,578, December 2022 estimate $49,583,636, June 2023 estimate $50,115,301. The overall $2.1 million reduction could be substantial without our current healthy fund balance. This is about 20% of the materials budget and almost 2 pay periods of gross salary expense. These variances in our primary source of funding can result in dramatic impacts in our ability to provide service. A key point to emphasize is that the state budget process occurs every 2 years, and many variables beyond our influence impact the process and the decisions. The Facilities and Finance and Audit Committee also met on July 17, 2023, at the Price Hill Branch. Committee Chair Robert G. Hendon, Committee Member Diane Cunningham-Redden, along with Trustees Christopher Harding and Colleen Reynolds were in attendance. Staff members Paula Bremheger, Molly DeFosse were also in attendance. After careful consideration and review of all the facts, the committee recommends the following resolution for adoption. Renewal with an increase for a total of 1.5 mil 10-year. Resolution declaring that the amount of taxes which may be raised within the 10 mil limitation by levies on the current tax duplicate will be insufficient to provide an adequate amount for the necessary operating expenses and necessary capital improvements of the Cincinnati and Hamilton County Public Library, and that it is necessary to levy a tax in excess of the 10 mil limitation at rate not to exceed 1 mil with an increase of 1/2 mil, not totaling 1 1/2 mils for a period of 10 years beginning in January 2024, first due in 2025, being the renewal with an increase of an existing levy. By the Board, whereas the Board of Library Trustees of the Cincinnati and Hamilton County Public Library has determined in accordance with RC 5705.19 that the amount of taxes which may be raised within the 10 mil limitation by levies on the current tax duplicate will be insufficient to provide an adequate amount for the operating expenses and necessary capital improvements of Cincinnati and Hamilton County Public Library. And whereas the Board of Library Trustees for the Cincinnati and Hamilton County Public Library has determined that it is necessary that additional taxes be levied for operating expenses and necessary capital improvements for a period of 10 years, beginning in January 2024, first due in calendar year 2025, being the renewal with an increase of an existing levy. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of Library Trustees of the Cincinnati and Hamilton County Public Library that it is necessary to levy a tax renewal in excess of the 10 mil limitation for the purpose of providing an adequate amount operating expenses and necessary capital improvements of the Cincinnati and Hamilton County Public Library for a period of 10 years beginning in January 2024, first due in calendar year 2025, at a rate not exceeding 1 1/2 mils for each $1 evaluation, being a renewal of 1 mils and an increase of 1/2 mils to be levied on the 2024, 2025, 2026, 2027, 2028, 2029, 2030, 2031, 2032, and 2033 tax duplicates for operating expenses and capital improvements of the library, and that the question of levying a tax be submitted to the electorate of Hamilton County, Ohio, at the general election to be held on November 7, as provided for in RC 5705.23. Be it further resolved that the form of ballot cast at such election shall be proposed levy tax renewal, Hamilton County. A majority affirmative vote is necessary for the passage. A renewal of 1 mil and an increase of 1/2 mils constituting a tax for the benefit of the Cincinnati and Hamilton County Public Library for the purpose of providing funds for operating expenses and capital improvements that the county auditor estimates will collect $30,878,000 annually at a rate not exceeding 1 1/2 mils for each $1 evaluation, which amounts to $43 for each $100,000 of the county auditor's appraised value for 10 years, commencing in January 2024. And be it further resolved that the clerk of this board and is hereby directed to transmit a certified copy of this resolution, together with the certification of the county auditor as required by RC 5703, to the Board of County Commissioners, Hamilton County, Ohio, the taxing authority to whose jurisdiction this board subject, directing it to transmit a copy of this resolution together with the certification of the county auditor to the Board of Elections, Hamilton County, Ohio. The Board of Elections shall submit the proposal to the electors of the Hamilton County at the general election to be held on November 7, 2023. The Board of Elections shall make the necessary arrangements for the submission of the proposed tax levy to the electors in accordance with the revised code, and such election shall be held on the date specified in this resolution. And the clerk of the Board of Elections shall cause notice of said election to be published once a week for 2 consecutive weeks in a newspaper of general circulation in Hamilton County, and on the website of the Board of Elections for a period of 30 days, stating the proposed of said levy, the rate of said levy expressed in dollars and cents for each $100,000 of the county auditor's appraised value, as well as in mills for each $1 evaluation, and the number of years during which said tax rate shall be in effect is heretofore specified in the time and place of holding the election. Be it further resolved that the clerk of said Board of Elections is hereby directed to certify the results of said election immediately after the canvass by the Board of Elections to the taxing authority of Hamilton County in order to permit the extensions of such levy, if approved by the electorate, upon the 2024, 2025, 2026, 2027, 2028, 2029, 2030, 2031, 2032, and 2033 tax lists and duplicates. Be it further resolved that the clerk of the Library Board of Trustees of the Cincinnati and Hamilton County Public Library be and is hereby authorized and directed to certify copies of this resolution to Jeff Aliotto, County Administrator, Paula Bremheger, the Eva Jane Romaine Coombe, Director, the Cincinnati and Hamilton County Public Library, and Bridget Kelly, County Auditor. I make the motion to place this 1.5 10-year levy on the November 7, 2023 ballot.
I second the motion.
Ms. Allen?
Yes.
Mr. Harding?
Yes.
Mr. Hendon?
Yes.
Ms. Lewis?
Yes.
Mr. Olson?
Yes.
Ms. Redden?
Yes.
Ms. Reynolds?
Yes.
So noted. At this point, we can either adjourn or I can take a moment of my presidential privilege, because I'd like to read a final message and information attached, and then we will adjourn after that. I think because we're on being publicly availability, and this may be publicly disseminated, I think it's important for the public to understand what the library is considering. Our libraries are for everyone in Hamilton County. Our public libraries in Hamilton County are valuable community resources that provide residents with one of the largest collections of books in the country of the United States of America. Access to job search and resume support, free Wi-Fi and computer access, a place where all are welcome and information is free. The Cincinnati and Hamilton County Public Library promotes a love of learning at a young age through programming like infant and toddler story hour and homework help. This levy will keep children and teens engaged in creative activities and prepare them for careers and higher education. Funding from this levy, previously passed by voters, has allowed the public library to improve all of its 41 branch libraries, including accessibility improvements and renovations. This levy will allow the library to continue to provide a high-quality experience to all Hamilton County residents. Having operated for 170 years, CHPL is committed to ensuring its services and spaces are available for current and future generations. The Cincinnati Hamilton County Public Library is also an excellent steward of taxpayer dollars. The library has controlled costs, stretched operating dollars, and managed finances responsibly to serve every Hamilton County at every neighborhood branch with resources and services that are accessible to everyone. The Cincinnati and Hamilton County Public Library has been recognized for its excellence in financial reporting by the state auditor. We can trust the library to be a good steward of public dollars. Not only that, the public needs to know that our services are not only free, but we carry zero debt. Our public library system receives almost 60% of its total funding from the state, but the state funding for libraries has been unpredictable and reduced for years, meaning that the library system may face budget deficits if this levy is not passed. Levy funding is critical to keeping our libraries strong. Customer demand for e-books, e-materials, and online learning services, such as access to research databases and genealogy databases, continues to grow. These include LinkedIn Learning, pre-GED and GED online lessons, language learning, newspaper articles, and so much more. And with that, I move we adjourn.
Second.
This meeting of the Cincinnati Hamilton County Public Library is now adjourned.
Thank you.